You know, a few years ago, the Montreal Canadiens had this interesting draft philosophy. They took guys like not Marat Kuznetsov, excuse me. They took guys like Arsen Kisamutinov, Raphael Harvey Pinard, guys that were a lot older, but whom they did not want to shell out free agent contracts to and sign right away. They wanted to have their rights. And this is another one of these guys that sort of falls into that similar mold, albeit under Kent Hughes rather than Bergevin. The Montreal Canadiens, with their 110th overall pick in the fourth round, have selected Bogdan Konyushkov. Now, I don't know if it's Konyushkov or Konyushkov or whatever, but this is a 20-year-old right-handed defenseman out of Torpedo in the KHL. I'm not going to read the entire name here. I've always just called this team Torpedo, but he's 5'11", 176 as a right-handed defenseman, and he had a good amount of points this year in the KHL. 25 points, 64 games played, and he had 5 points in 10 games in the postseason. There really isn't too much to look for when it comes to Konyushkov because Torpedo, of course, it's a KHL team. Not too many folks on this side of the pond watch too many KHL games. But to help us out, we do have an article on McKean's blog from earlier, when was this? June 20th, 2023. And it does indeed go over this player, Bogdan Konyushkov, written out by Victor Fomic. Let's go out there and read this scouting report and see what it has to say. The link is going to be in the description if you want to go ahead and read this in full. When a player is undrafted a couple of times already and is in his last year of draft eligibility, it takes something special for him to finally get noticed. If we look at the basic stat line, it looks good, but not too special for defenseman Bogdan Konyushkov, which is likely the reason there isn't much mainstream talk about him outside of Russia. Yet, even just pure stats can be more interesting if we look at those closer and at the right angle. The first thing that stands out in the case of Konyushkov is that despite his age, he made his KHL debut just this season and actually led his KHL team in average ice time, as his cerebral game on both ends of the ice convinced coach Igor Larionov to immediately give him an opportunity for a leading role on the team. And if we look at the advanced stats, those are telling that the trust in him, it paid off really well, as Konyushkov is among the league's leaders in both completed pass amounts and percentage, as well as in the puck battle win percentage. Quite a debut season, I'd say. As a bonus, Konyushkov is right-handed, just in case if everything described above isn't convincing enough about him potentially being a very intriguing prospect for the coming draft. And so from this, you can gather that Konyushkov was an analytical darling, a guy that made his bread and butter by just making the right play and really coming out on top in his puck battles. Definitely interesting prospect, especially as a smaller right-handed defenseman who did produce some points in the KHL, but he's a Montreal Canadien now. They'll hold on to his rights instead of having to go out there and trying to sign him in free agency. Let me know what you think about Bogdan Konyushkov heading over to the Habs. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.